So I want to bring up the filmmaker. I spoke on opening night, if you were here, about the wonderful voices that we need more than ever in the world, let alone independent cinema. And we have one with you tonight. Please welcome Eva Victor.
Okay, very cool. Thank you so much for being here. That was a really special intro. Thank you. Usually I keep these really short, but I want to kind of say something because I went to school at Northwestern, which is nearby. Yeah. And it's such a trip being back here. It's been like, actually, I think 10 years since I thought that was you doing the sound of like the wind in the past or something. It's been like 10 years since I've been here, and I went to Northwestern's campus last night, and I was walking around, and I smoked a little weed to kind of get in the mood, and I was feeling so reflective due to awesomeness and the weed, and I was just like, man, thank you. Right, we're like literally perfect together. And I was reflecting on 2 teachers I had at Northwestern. One of them was my acting teacher named Don Mora, who I think was the first person to see me as complicated as I felt, and it made such an impact on me, and I think she understood that for whatever reason, and I didn't really understand at the time, that acting for me was life or death. Like the stakes for me and my acting was everything. And she saw that and she was like, so get up and do it, fucker, kind of thing. Like she was such a fucking, like, she was so awesome. And I don't think I really knew any women who were like in their 70s. And so it was really like special and like intimate and awesome. She's since passed, and I wish she could see this, but being in her classroom last night alone, which I think is illegal, but I snuck in, I was just like, she's here, she's everywhere. And then my other professor, I heard a whisper that she might be here tonight, is Laura Shellhart, who, she treated us like we were professionals when we were 18. And the gift of being taken seriously like that, I mean, I guess the through line is being taken seriously as a young person and as a young artist has just like a complete impact. But she I think understood my humor and understood my seriousness, despite sort of also my shortcomings with like being kind of insane. But so if you're here tonight, I want to see you afterwards. But anyway, I'm feeling a lot of memories and smoking a lot of weed. No, I'm kidding. But thank you for being here. I'll see you afterwards for the Q&A. That was too long. See you later.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for waiting, sticking around. Please welcome back to the stage, Eva Victor. Myself included, are like, wow, the voice of this movie is so singular and strong. LOL. Exactly. Because as a writer, people are always like, you gotta develop your voice. And I'm always like, what the fuck does that mean?
That's a great question.
So what the fuck does it mean?
I don't know. I feel like the thing is actually stripping away what you think it should sound like, maybe. That's about all I have.
Like on a granular, this line sounds good level, or on a like
It's like if
storytelling
you're thinking
level?
about that, like, okay, so why are you writing it then? It's like, why are you writing it? And so just write that, and then anytime you're thinking about what it should sound like is actually potentially a trap of, if it's sounding like something that's probably not what you think it is, or something. I think that's a layer of distancing you're accidentally doing. But I don't know. It's a great fucking question. So.
Well, you mentioned earlier that you studied theater. How do you think acting kind of helped you find your voice?
Well, the thing about acting that's amazing is that, like, I got to do, like, Chekhov, which is, it's like every single thing, like, someone will stand at the edge of the stage for like 5 minutes looking at the clouds and then be like, the sky is beautiful, and the subtext is like, I'm going to kill myself later today. And it's like, that is so true, and I loved it. And then you do the Greeks, and it's like, Medea is like, I killed my children because I hate you. And it's like, right, like, it can kind of be anything. And I'm like 18, and I'm like, I get why she's saying that. Like,
Yeah.
or I don't know, just like being able to explore what it would, like a drop of what it would potentially feel like if I did kill my children because I hated my husband so much. Like that kind of being able to imagine going there was very empowering to someone who's like walking around Evanston with like it's like music in my ears. He's like, I hate like life, like. So I don't know. It was like
Yeah,
it was
like,
rebellious. It was like cool, like.
If I had a husband, I'd hate him.
Yeah, like if I had a husband, like I would so kill our children. Like, so I don't know. Acting class was so special because it was all dark there. It was like just this like dark room, and you got to do parts of plays that are so scary, but it was for learning, so you could be really bad. And then we did this thing where my teacher was like, I'm casting everyone as the opposite of what you can do. And I did Ophelia in Hamlet, and it was like really embarrassing. So I was like, I don't get her. She's so like random. Like she doesn't like. She's like just crying. Like it's so random. And she was like, what if she's like awesome? And that, I don't know. It was just all these things of like, oh shit, maybe she is like cool. Like. So it was just that kind of like exploration. I don't remember the question, but I'm loving what I'm saying. I'm feeling very connected to it.
So the point is, just keep talking, and the voice will just come out.
By the way,
Yeah.
that's the ticket. Just don't stop talking until you annoy everyone. And then some, you know, Stephen King in his book. So this is something that so he wrote a writing book, right? We all know that because he's talking about it. And he wrote a writing book, and at the end he's like, or one of the things he says is, she exclaimed is fine, but she said is divine. And when I read that, I was like, oh my God, that's so true. Like, she said, like, that's it. Like, she just said that. And then I was talking to someone about that, saying that, trying to sound like legit profound recently. And this woman was like, yeah, but I think that's like a very like we celebrate writers and their masculinity, and that's a very masculine way to write.
Oh, because the Hemingway of it all?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what she said, by the way. But you know what's so crazy? This is so private. Basically, there used to be a Barnes and Noble in Evanston, and I went on this, literally, and I went on this date with this horrible guy there, and he was like, my favorite writer is Hemingway, and I was like, whoa, like, anyway, you just said that, and I just had this
wow.
and I'm like, you are awesome, like, no, okay, anyway, so she was saying that, and I was like, oh my God, I need to think about, like, why I think him saying she said is divine is so awesome. So, yeah. I think that's what I want to say on that.
I love that. There's a lot of great kind of literary, element to this film, talking about, I feel exactly the same way about Lolita that Agnes and the students do in the film.
Thank you. You know what? During COVID, I was really depressed, and I took this online Yale course that's free about the great American novel before 1945.
Okay.
Because I wanted to read Lolita, but I wanted a woman to teach me how to read Lolita, because it was like depressing to imagine reading it alone. And I really felt so connected to this question Lolita begs, which is like, it's so good to read and like really upsetting to read too.
Yeah. Yeah, like the language is beautiful, but the content of it is disgusting.
Right, it's really upsetting.
Yeah. Well, one thing I really like about the writing style of this film is that they're, not to get too heavy too fast, but you like rarely say the word. I feel like, the words like assault, sexual assault, it appears in the hospital scene, but usually, Agnes and her friends, they call it the bad thing. And I find that very true to life.
Yeah.
What do you think about all that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like, there was the reason I wrote the movie is because I wanted to talk about the time after assault when you are trying to heal, but you're stuck and it's hard, and everyone starts looking away, but you're stuck in your life because you can't move forward because everything is just about getting through the day. And I really didn't want to write a film about violence, and I didn't want the violence in the film. And I think part of that was trying to write a film for the person who needed this film and didn't necessarily have the film at the time, and so a lot of the decisions I was making were for that person, and I think like the word choices around the assault I wanted to keep just as tender as not showing the violence. Like there were all these choices made to basically try to not make the film traumatic for someone or for like me,
Sure.
And so the people who use the harsher words are the people who understand it less usually. So yes, the doctor, maybe that's it. But definitely deliberate.
Yeah, definitely, you call it like the bad thing, and people will kind of be like, the thing. People won't speak these words deliberately, but still make kind of profound points about like the experience of living it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, they do. That's cool, thank you.
Of course! I mean, it kind of ties into me, I don't know if this affects your writing style at all, or when you were writing this film, the way that, for example, in the monologue in the bathtub, the way that she describes certain sense memories feels very true to me, the experience of remembering something.
That's cool, thanks. Yeah, I structurally really wanted the film, I don't know, sometimes people talk about film structure, and I don't think I wrote it deliberately with
You didn't have Save the Cat?
I didn't have it pulled up, no. But when I look back on it and I think about structure, I'm like, oh, the middle of this film is not the violence, the middle of the film is all driving towards her telling her friend what happened. And that's deliberate. The film is about someone sharing that with their friend and the friend holding it very well. So, what were we talking about?
We were talking about the bathtub
Yes.
scene.
Yes. So I think that scene is sort of what the whole second chapter is driving towards. And I wanted the film to also believe in the idea, or support the idea that you don't need to see it to believe that that's what happened to her.
Yeah.
The film just believes that that's what happened, and we find out about it kind of as she's finding out about it, because she only really finds out that happened to her when her friend says that's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
she realized oh yeah, I guess that is the thing.
Yeah, and sort of there was this whole section built to be okay, we're in this wide on this house, we wait. She emerges from this house in this real wide, and she's
I love that shot, and the
Thank
shot
you.
of driving home.
Thank you.
This look on your face in that
Yes.
shot where she's driving home. It's incredible.
Thank you. And my DP is in the trunk of that car, like. But yeah, the whole time, like you don't really see her face, like you see the back of her head, and then you see like her eyes for one moment, and then you're through the window and you see a wide of her, and then we're in the bathroom. It's the first time you see her face, because I really didn't want the audience, like you get a bad feeling, but I wanted it to be about survival mode until you get to the bathtub. And then once she's safe, she's in this like warm glow of her
And her best friend is there.
And so it's not scary that we see her full face or that she's so exposed because she's being held correctly. So yes, that scene is, and the performance of it, it was so much about just saying it. It's just about trying to get the facts out. You know something went wrong, but you're just trying to basically put it into like the mind meld of you two to make sense of it.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, within like the world of this film, it's very natural, but it's still very radical in our world. Number one, for someone to be like, no, this happened to me, and this is exactly what happened, and for someone else to believe it without question. It's still very radical.
Yes. Yeah, and that was like, I think, in looking back, I think the reason why comedy can exist in this movie is because Liddy's there. Like, because at the doctor's office, that's allowed to be funny because it's them two questioning how stupid this guy's being. And because they have this united front, it can land as funny. Whereas, like, you then go to the HR office and it's 2 against 1 where Agnes is alone, and it's like a bit less funny. You know, like, I think the tragedy comes when Agnes is alone, but when she has Liddy, it can act as more of a, I don't want to say buddy comedy, but a buddy like moment, you know, a buddy sad vibe.
Right, yeah. Right. And it also, can I tell you my favorite line in the entire film?
Well, let's hear it.
I'll be sure to remember that for next time.
Thank you.
Well, one thing another thing that I really like about this film and your character in it, and the character of Agnes, is I think it really speaks to a truth of like, you're still the same person you were before this thing happened, right? Like, she's like really smart, and she's funny, and she's sarcastic, and none of that goes away because something happened.
Yes, I think, you know, I worked with an acting coach for like months before we did this, and it was so much about trying to figure out, in the few scenes that Agnes has before this happens, what is, like, I think the thing we came to was there is obviously this like horrible thing that happens when someone decides what should happen to your body without your permission. Like, that is completely life-alteringly devastating. And then also, like, the thing that this man took was her ability to see her future and to be excited about her future. So I think the thing, like, Agnes is always Agnes, but there's like a, well, I hope that there's like this light behind her eyes, like when she's like of excitement, where she's like, there's this creative flow and energy between them that she needs, and she feels alive from it, and taking that belief in herself from her, or leading her to question it or whatever, is like one of the tragedies of her experience. So she's still the same person, but there's trying to make sense of the world now that there's this spark that's...
It's like you're the same person, and everything around you is the same. You live in the same house. She's even working in the same office later.
Right.
But there's this one thing that is like just profoundly never ever going to be the same again. And I think that's like it's like emotional for me to even bring it up. And I love like the arc that you do of being able to see a future again.
Yeah, I think it's like to see a glimmer of a future. Kind of, you know, like, I think it's a particular timeline of like 4 years, or in a way 5 years, but kind of 4 full years, and
like the term of going to college, kind of.
That's true.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa.
No, but like that, it's not much time, like, and so there's like this tiny shift that can happen, but it really is, it is a small amount of time, and there was like it was like this interesting thing of, we were choosing what performance to select at the end of the film for the final scene.
With the baby?
Yes, and there was like 2 versions, one where she's legit weeping, and it's really intense, but it's like cathartic in its own way. And then there was this one, and we like talked about it for a really long time, and everyone had a different opinion, and this felt like the one that, it was like maybe 10% more she's gonna be okay. Or she's okay right now, maybe. Like, and so there's definitely like was calibration along the way of how much is she shifting? I mean, like, the thing people teach you is that when you're writing a story, you write a story where someone changes, you know, like that's so much a part of, and it's like, but I think the thing that's missing is the nuance of like, the changes can be non-linear and they can be small, as long as it's like thoughtful, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, and it is non-linear, you know, that's what leads us to that wonderful moment with the sandwich with John Carroll Lynch.
Yes, you love him or something?
He's here, folks, he's right there.
That would be crazy. That would be cool. Yeah. I feel like that's kind of his vibe. He'd be like, I was in Chicago, it was great, thank you for having me. Yeah, no, he's wonderful. It was really, really cool to have someone so legendary come to set. Everyone was like, started acting like a little bit more like intense about their jobs. I was like, okay, I see you guys. Like, John Carroll Lynch shows up, everyone's like, oh shit, I gotta do my job a little different.
And you're like, hey.
I'm like, it's been weeks, y'all. No, I'm kidding. Everyone was good the whole time. No, he's like awesome, and I think it was this cool discovery that like 3/4 of the way through a film, like, oh, you can just like have someone show up who is a burst of energy, and it was a really fun scene to do too, because he was so thoughtful about the film and the content of the film, and he's so funny, and he also has like a real gravitas, and I think it was really nice to act with him. And we were outside, and there are so few scenes outside. Like, it kind of felt like this breath of fresh air, and you know, something in the script, it was written as they both eat sandwiches. He makes sandwiches for both of them, and they both eat them. And he was like, I don't think I should eat a sandwich. I think I should go make her a sandwich and just give her a sandwich. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, I would never make a sandwich and then eat it too. I would make her a sandwich. And I was like, seriously, no problem. Let's do that. And I think it worked really well. Like, I really he just, you know, someone who's like
a gesture of care.
Totally. It's like, I'm doing this for you, and I don't need a fucking sandwich. I hate my sandwich. Whatever. Like, he was so thoughtful. Yeah.
I think that's all the time we have for today, folks. Let's
Thank you
leave
guys.
it on the sandwiches. One more time for